What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Lonzo in the building. Hat is on. You guys know what that means. UFC 319 full card prediction video. Now this is the one. It's August, and we're just getting a fight card like this. You know, Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, great card, you know, but this one is just loaded up with great fights. Main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis, and we are going to make predictions from the very first fight all the way to the main event, so stay tuned. Let's get right into it. I have been doing some research, finding some good websites. If you guys want to know where to get some of this information, Tapology has some great stuff. You know, I do think a lot of the main guys who make prediction videos use this, and I feel like it is a great resource to do so. So if you guys are, you know, thinking about making your picks, look into it. First fight of the card, we have Alibi Idris versus Joseph Morales. Okay, now this guy Alibi is on a 5-fight win streak, undefeated. Okay, he has been more active than Morales. Morales' last win is coming through a triangle choke almost 2.5 years ago. So it could be one of two things. All right, guys. Either this guy is going to come in like Habib and just maul this guy, or he's going to get absolutely flatlined. No in between. And if you're going to come off a layoff, I don't know what's going on with his personal, you know, his personal situation going on. But if you're out of the fight game for that long, there is some rust. And I don't think that this guy, Alibi, has any rust in him. You know what I mean? I do think that we're going to see a knockout in the very first round, starting off the card with a banger. So I'm going Alibi Idris. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, for the very first fight. Second fight of the early prelim, Rodrigo Sincanando versus Daniil Donenko. Okay, I don't know why the UFC doesn't have images for this match, but hey man, UFC website, it's buggy all the time. You know, with this $7 billion deal, I really hope they upgrade a lot of their stuff, their website, clicking on their videos, watching their highlights, even the UFC Fight Pass. You know, Dana, just one Baccarat hand and you could fix a lot of the stuff. You know what I mean? Just saying. All right, we got Rodrigo Sincanando versus Daniil Donenko. Okay, now 3 rounds, you know, undercard. Both of these guys have a 4-fight win streak. Last 5 fights, we could see the results from right here. I do see Donenko getting the dub via TKO in the 3rd round. He has that knockout power, able to stop the fight. He has a lot of momentum going his way. Heavy favorite, and I do think that we're not going to see an underdog arise from this welterweight fight. Next fight up, Karine Silva versus Dion Barbosa. Dion Barbosa recently had just fought. She looked really good in her last performance. I believe it was a submission win. Let me double check that. See. I remember watching that fight. She looked very dangerous. So, yep. It was a arm triangle. Yep, it was an arm triangle. And I honestly like her fight style. Karine Silva is ranked. Her last fight was a unanimous decision, which was a loss to Silva. But you guys know how Silva fights, man. Silva is always dancing around. Not the most entertaining style, but I do think Barbosa has that killer instinct in her, and I think she is going to get the dub via submission. Now, I don't know what kind of submission. I could feel like a 2nd or 3rd round submission for Barbosa. She is dangerous. I'd be on the lookout for her. All right, now going into the prelims, we have Bryan Battle versus Nultan Rizbow. Okay, Rizbow had a great fight in his last performance. Bryan Battle has been getting a lot of hate for some reason because he took his last performance all the way to decision. He also missed weight, so you know the fans kind of switched up on him. There was a lot of hype and momentum when he went out in France. He did his thing. He was out there cussing at the crowd. And there was so much like Instagram clips and stuff like that for Bryan Battle. Seemed like the momentum definitely has switched for him. But I personally think that Bryan Battle is going to get this dub, and a lot more people are going to hop on the bandwagon. Now, this is a very tough fight. I hope he makes weight. Rizbow is a volume striker. So I do think this one is going to go all the way to decision. But I do think Bryan Battle, if he makes the right adjustments, can win this fight. So I'm going Bryan Battle for this fight. Now we have a lightweight, Edson Barboza versus Drakkar Klose. And I got Edson Barbosa, man. I know a lot of people are counting him out. Seen some other prediction videos, saying he's unk, but I don't think those shins are unk, bro. I feel like if he still utilizes those kicks to the body, to the calf, have Joe Rogan, people forget, man, get some of those moments in there. I do think that Edson Barbosa can get a stoppage in the third round. I believe in unks. Unks are still here in the game. You know what I mean? We have Bobby Green later on this card, so stay tuned. The unks, I feel like this is going to be the night of the unks for sure. So we have Edson Barbosa versus Klose, and I got Barbosa. I think that's going to be a good one. Underrated for sure. Now we got the boy, the hood's favorite, Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. Now, I feel like Chase Hooper has that reach advantage. He had a great fight against Jim Miller in his last fight. A bunch of like submission attempts, crazy kind of transitions, getting to the back from Hooper. Alexander Hernandez, I believe, let's do some 16-8. Yeah, he's coming off a decision win. His last loss, a decision. So he's going to decision. Now, I do think Chase Hooper is very aggressive. He doesn't have these heavy hands, like a Justin Gaethje or anything like that, but he does have length. And when it comes to grappling, I feel like he has the upper advantage into pressuring and trying to get those submission attempts, takedowns. So I'm gonna go Chase Hooper submission, second round here. I know I was kind of just like yapping right there. I didn't know what I was trying to say. I was trying to think. But Chase Hooper, I do think he's going to get a submission win against Alexander Hernandez and continue on, But Chase Hooper has been fighting a lot of unks. This is kind of someone who's more of his age. Might see a little different side of Chase Hooper in this fight, but I do think he'll get the dub. Now, with the women's strawweight bout after that, we have Jessica Andrade versus Lupi Godinez. Andrade hasn't looked the best in her last fight. I believe Lupi was able to get the dub in her last performance. I picked Andrade on our last prediction for her last fight. It just doesn't seem like she switches things up when it comes to coming back after she's down a round or two. She kind of really sticks to the game plan. So if she really doesn't win the first round, it's hard for her to come back. Lupi Godinez, she had that little incident on the stool, like in between rounds. This one, it's a toss up for me. Like I can't really say. I feel 100% confident with my pick. I'm gonna go Lupi Godinez here. Decision. I'm gonna play it safe, but I believe Jessica is the favorite here. So we're gonna do a quick. Let's see here. Oh, Godinez is the favorite, which I'm surprised by because Andrade was the former champion in her division. It does seem like she definitely needs to switch something up, and this might be her opportunity to do so. But I still got Lupi on this fight. Now, GM3 versus Michal, Oleksiejczuk is gonna get the dub. I feel like GM3 is a little bit past his prime, and I feel like it's a scrap. We really don't see a lot of stand up, but I feel like this one's definitely gonna be on the feet. I feel Michal Oleksiejczuk is gonna get the dub, second round TKO. Now, Bobby Green versus Diego Ferreira. I'm going King Green. I don't know why. I feel it. We'll see. Just come back to this video. All right. Next fight up, Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Asakura coming out of Japan. Kai, his last fight was for the belt against Alexandre Pantoja. He got submitted via rear naked choke. He actually passed out even after he tapped. Tim Elliott, vet in the game. I just don't think it's going to be enough to stop Kai Asakura. I'm calling this a knockout, a flying knee knockout in the very first round. I feel like a lot of people are underestimating Kai Asakura just because he went straight from Japan all the way to the championship fight. And I do think that Kai has the ability to get some crazy highlight reel knockouts. So I'm calling a Kai Asakura flying knee knockout. I just feel it. So we'll see. I really think that Kai Asakura is gonna, have a couple IG reels go off. That's all I gotta say. Now, this one is a little controversial, bro. Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page. Everybody I see is going MVP, reasonably so. MVP has a point style fighting. He gets to the places he needs to be. He's flashy, he's creative, he's elusive. What did I say? Unks. It's going to be an unk type of card, bro. Jared Cannonier. Great performance in his last fight against RoboCop. Literally switched the whole fight up in the very first round. I do think that Jared Cannonier is going to shock a lot of people. I don't think it's going to be as entertaining fight as we think it's going to be. You know, both of these guys, heavy strikers on the feet, but Jared Cannonier is a dog. He's going to figure out a way how to manipulate Michael Venom Page on the ground, against the cage, and make MVP very uncomfortable. MVP doesn't do a lot of jiu-jitsu. We saw that when he went against Ian Gary. Ian Gary had this body triangle close guard thing going on, and he couldn't really escape. You know, that's what led him to lose that fight against Ian Gary. And I feel like Jared Cannonier is going to do anything that he can to get the dub. So I'm going Jared Cannonier on this fight. I know it's a controversial take, but hey, man, that's just what I think, and we will see. We will see. All right, next fight up, Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Now, I was talking about all the unks, right? This is the only one I'm fading. Carlos Prates comeback fight against Ian Gary. We saw little glimpses of Carlos Prates' potential. He didn't really execute the game plan like he probably should have, but I do think that he's going to come in with some vengeance in this fight, prove a lot of people wrong. Carlos Prates TKO. I do feel like a Muay Thai finish here, maybe a knee or a nasty elbow. I don't think this one's going to look good for Jeff Neal. We'll see, though. Now, co-main. This one was interesting. This was supposed to be Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico. Movsar had some things switching up in his schedule. Lerone Murphy, I believe he's won 8 in a row. Check me on that, please. He had a decent fight against Josh Emmett. I'm not going to say it was spectacular. I feel like he played the game very well strategically. Like Emmett's a dangerous striker, knockout power. Ended up kind of just outclassing Emmett on the feet, really getting his points where he needs to be. And I do think we're going to see a similar thing in this fight against Aaron Pico. Now, coming from Bellator, I believe, coming from another organization, we really haven't seen anybody strive in the UFC coming straight from an organization outside the UFC, besides maybe DeRitter, you know, coming from one championship. He's doing his thing. Pico, I heard he has great knockout power, knocking fools out in training. Very dangerous on the feet as well as grappling, but I feel like Lerone Murphy is going to take this all the way to decision and get the dub. I feel like Lerone knows how to play the fight game. He knows how to get to the spots where he needs to go, and I got Lerone Murphy on this fight. Now, for the main event, what you all been waiting for, Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Everybody, I did a poll on my Instagram. I'm going to say everybody, but like 12 people voted. Majority Khamzat Chimaev was to take here, and I'm gonna fade it. I think Dricus du Plessis is gonna out gas tank Chimaev and take it all the way maybe to the 4th or 5th round. I don't know how. I don't know how he's gonna do it. I don't know if it's gonna be like a falling elbow, if it's gonna be a slip and fall, like he just sits on his head and freaking Khamzat, you know, explodes or something. I have no idea. You know, it's all fun and games right now, but I'm serious. I do think Dricus du Plessis is going to shock a lot of people and beat Khamzat Chimaev. I do think Khamzat has great momentum. He's scary. You know, no one wants to be in there. But even if Dricus gets taken down, I feel like he would be able to find a way how to get out of scary positions. I feel like in the fight we're going to see certain points where like, oh, it's over. It's definitely over. And then Dricus just like figures out how to get out of that position. Clip this if it doesn't end that way, please. But I do think Dricus du Plessis is going to get the dub. I know I had a lot of crazy takes, you know, taking Cannonier, taking Dricus, taking Bobby Green. I don't know why. I just feel like those guys are going to end up getting the win this Saturday night. Now I'm gonna stay tuned. Hopefully I'm wrong. You know, maybe we get to see some great fights. I don't think this Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico fight is going to be that, like, I don't think these guys are going to be swinging Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier style. I really don't see that. But besides that, great fights on the card. Chase Hooper, I do see a lot of momentum going his way. He's only 25 years old, going against a younger opponent. He's been going against the Unks, doing very well. But I do think also Edson Barboza can shock a lot of people. A lot of people, like I heard no one taking Edson Barboza on this, and I do think it's a lot closer fight, a lot close than we think. You know what I mean? Brian Battle, same thing. They switched up on him. I don't know why. I don't know why people switched up on him. Bro, it was a tough fight. Plus, he missed weight, and he still got the dub. He figured it out. He gave half his purse away because he missed weight. So I think he's got some vengeance coming towards him, just like Carlos Prates. I feel like these guys are going to make their comeback performance, and I really want to know what you guys think. And leave your comments down below, your predictions. It was fun talking to you guys. I'll catch you guys. I'm gonna be, check out the Twitter. I'm gonna be posting on Twitter as the fights are going. If we're not live, I'm definitely gonna be posting fight per fight. So follow the Twitter down below as well. It's your boy Zoe, and I hope to catch you guys on the next episode. We out. Peace.